What's going on, everybody? So with Golden Globe nominations just a couple days away on Monday the 9th, I am here for my final Golden Globes nomination predictions. There's a couple things here that I would really like to see. First, I need to see the substance get into either director or screenplay or both. If it only gets into comedy picture and comedy actress, then I'm not going to have that much faith about it being a thing this awards season. I need to see it get into some of these non-genred categories in order for me to take it seriously for the Oscars. And second, The Room Next Door is really relying on the Golden Globes here. You know, they went pretty hard for some international films last year and gave some of them a real big boost in awards season. So if The Room Next Door is going to be a thing at the Oscars, this is where that race starts. If it can't really get into many categories at all, then I think The Room Next Door is just going to be a nothing factor this season. So with that said, let's get right into the video. Starting off with Best Picture Drama, I really don't have to talk about these first four very much. If The Brutalist is as big as we think it's going to be, it's going to win here. Sing Sing is getting that resurgence that I thought it would. That's got a safe nomination. Conclave, also a really safe nomination. And Dune Part 2, that's a film that's not going to be in the winning conversation in picture director this season, but it's going to consistently just be there getting nominated, and I think it's a lock. After that, here we have Nickel Boys. If this Golden Globes group went for The Zone of Interest and Anatomy of a Fall in Best Picture Drama last year, I don't see why Nickel Boys would miss here, considering it is one of the most acclaimed, even more so than some of the films above it here. So I think Nickel Boys is probably pretty safe for this nomination. After that, at the number 6 spot, there's a few different choices one could make. I'm just going to say A Complete Unknown keeps riding its wave of momentum it's got right now and gets this last drama slot here in Best Picture. There has been a lot of praise for all of the actors. They've kind of been pulling it in. And, you know, I was worried that maybe the Golden Globes, maybe a couple other groups would be like, nah, that's just fine, we're not going to nominate it. But, you know, the Golden Globes nominated Maestro last year. I don't see why they wouldn't nominate A Complete Unknown as well. The Room Next Door, I need to see it get over A Complete Unknown to take it seriously this season, and I just don't know if it's going to have enough to get there. This group is far more international than it was just a couple years ago, and that might help The Room Next Door get up there. And honestly, I'm recording this the day before the European Film Awards. If The Room Next Door goes out and wins a bunch of awards, it's winning picture, director, actress, screenplay, some combination of those, then I think The Room Next Door does actually have a chance to get above A Complete Unknown. But for now, I'm just going to slot in A Complete Unknown because I think that's the safer choice. But The Room Next Door is certainly a possibility. Other international films here that I think are in contention but just probably won't have enough gas to get over that line. The Seat of the Sacred Fig, I'm Still Here, both very well-loved films, probably will be liked quite a bit by the international side of this voting body for the Golden Globes, but I just struggle to think that either of these films can really get in over those 6 that I think are going to get an Oscar nomination for Best Picture, or The Room Next Door, which I think is the most likely film here to get that international support. Moving on to comedy musical picture, Anora and Wicked are easily the top 2 here. I still have Anora as the frontrunner for Best Picture at the Oscars, so of course I have it winning the award here still, but Wicked does give me some pause. This film is riding a lot of momentum, and if Anora keeps just kind of slowly dropping a bit and Wicked just keeps going up from here, I can see Wicked potentially taking this award from Anora, which would concern me about Best Picture at the Oscars, but for now I'm just going to keep Anora 1, Wicked 2. Amelia Perez at 3. No matter what the online film community would like to say about this movie, it's just going to be something that gets in with awards bodies. A Real Pain, this is right around that 8 to 10 slot in Best Picture at the Oscars. I don't see why it would miss comedy musical here. The Substance, like I said at the beginning of this, I do think The Substance gets this nomination just because these last two slots are kind of up in the air, and I think The Substance has enough gas on it to at least get here. Will it have enough to sneak into some other categories? I don't know, but I think comedy musical picture is a pretty safe one. After that, I'm going to go with challengers. You know, it's sad that we all wrote this film off at the beginning of the awards season, said it wasn't going to be an awards thing. It absolutely should be. It's still one of the best of the year, and it's sad that it's not going to pick up any more momentum. I do think it's going to be good enough to get in here. A Different Man, I could see getting in. You know, it did win the Gotham for Best Picture, and that has no bearing on this whatsoever, but it at least shows that, hey, people do like A Different Man when they see the film. So, you know, if Sebastian Stan could maybe win Best Comedy Actor for this film, then maybe that brings A Different Man into comedy picture over challengers. Hitman, I've heard a lot that Netflix is trying to push this film in actor and screenplay. And hey, if Glenn Powell wins Best Comedy Actor, maybe he pulls this in there. I think this one has a little bit less of a chance with this group. I think the old Globes honestly might have gone for it, but I think the Globes we have now probably won't. Best Director is honestly probably the hardest one to talk about here. I do have Brady Corbett winning here like I do at the Oscars. I think the Golden Globes, especially with how international they are going to really like this film. You know, they showed last year that they can have some more highbrow taste, and I think this is one of those picks where they're really going to like what Brady Corbett did with The Brutalist. Sean Baker for Anora, very safe nomination. He could maybe win if they aren't as high on The Brutalist as I'm expecting. I don't think that's going to be the case, but Sean Baker easily here at number 2. Number 3, I have Denis Villeneuve for Dune Part 2. I don't know if he's actually going to be number 3 for the win. Like I said, I don't think he's going to be in win contention anywhere, but I'm just so sure that he's getting a nomination, so I'm going to put him here. Edward Berger for Conclave. You know, last year they showed that they can really go out for some middlebrow stuff in Best Director when they went for Bradley Cooper and Maestro, and the most middlebrow movie of the year is absolutely Conclave. I think they're going to really like how Berger assembled this film, and they're going to give him a nomination here. John Chu for Wicked. This is another one where I don't think it's going to happen at the Oscars, but will happen here. I just think that Wicked right now is riding so much momentum, and the fact that voting was just over this last week at the very high of Wicked's momentum, I think that John Chu is going to secure this nomination. And this last slot, I've been going back and forth between. I've wanted to put Ramel Ross here because I do think he's absolutely getting in at the Oscars, but they showed that even though they gave some of the more highbrow movies like Zone of Interest and Anatomy of a Fall Best Drama Film last year, they didn't give either Best Director nominations. So I think that might be the same case with Nickel Boys, where it just can't break into this category for whatever reason. And so because I have Ross just out, I'm going to put Jacques Audiard for Amelia Perez here. I can see a world where they just flip-flop, but for now I am just confident that the awards bodies are going to nominate Amelia Perez a lot, so I got Audiard in here. Coralie Farjat for The Substance and Pedro Almodovar for The Room Next Door. Like I said, they gotta get into here or gotta get into Screenplay for me to really think that they are going to be awards contenders at the Oscars. And for now, I just think the 6 and the 7 with Ross are more likely than either of them. But if either Farjat or Almodovar get in, I may have to start predicting The Room Next Door or The Substance in Best Picture. Best Drama Actress. At number 1, I have Angelina Jolie here. I think she's just the safest for this nomination. I can see a world where a couple other contenders do beat her because I'm not very confident in her or her movie. I did see Maria and I thought Jolie was excellent, probably a career best for her, but I just think the movie is fine. That's going to be what a lot of people think. It's going to leave them cold, kind of unsatisfied. So a lot of voters may look to a Nicole Kidman for the win eventually. I'm just keeping Jolie here at 1 because she is the most guaranteed for the nomination. Kidman, definitely going to be here as well. I can see her leapfrogging Jolie though, because this film will come out in theaters at Christmas, right in time for it to start gaining momentum into Globe voting. So I think Kidman has a chance. Marianne Jean-Baptiste for Hard Truths, she's looking like a lock for this nomination. I think that she's going to be a consistent throughout some of the award season. She's going to get this. She's going to get BAFTA. We'll see if she gets the Oscar. After that, I have Tilda Swinton here. I don't believe she's a lock, just because I'm not that sure about The Room Next Door as a film, but I think Swinton gets in. Fernanda Torres for I'm Still Here. You know, this is the same group that went for the lead actress in Fallen Leaves last year. I think that Fernanda Torres gets this nomination, even if I'm Still Here isn't anywhere else except international film. Saoirse Ronan for The Outrun. I've lost a lot of confidence in her to get the Oscar nomination, but I do think drama nomination here is pretty likely just because of the competition under it. Pamela Anderson for The Last Showgirl. I've heard nothing but glowing praise about her in the film. I think it would be a great narrative, a great nomination. I just worry that the film is just going to be too small to break into these major precursors. Kate Winslet for Lee has been campaigning her ass off, but I just don't buy it. She's fine enough in the movie. Hell, I'd say she's very good, but I just don't believe in the film at all. Comedy actress, I think Mikey Madison is still number one here as long as Anora is winning comedy picture. I don't see why they would split. If Wicked does take comedy picture, then I think Erivo can grab the win. But for now, I'm going to stick firm with Mikey Madison because I just think she's going to be the front runner throughout the whole award season, and it's going to be very deserved. She is excellent in the movie. Cynthia Erivo, really safe number two with how well loved Wicked is and how much momentum it has. Carla Sofia Gascon, like I said, in Best Picture, Amelia Perez is just going to be a constant throughout award season, whether we like it or not. And Carla Sofia Gascon is absolutely one of the best parts of it and will get a nomination. Demi Moore for The Substance. I do feel confident about her in this category just because the rest of the competition is so weak. I think she is absolutely in, even if The Substance really isn't their thing. Zendaya for Challengers. I think if Challengers is getting that last slot in comedy picture, she's going to make it into comedy actress. And this last spot, I'm going to have a little fun here. I'm going to say June Squibb gets in for Thelma. I'm not actually 100% confident about this at all, but I just want to say that the Globes have a little bit of fun and nominate June Squibb. That would be such a cool nomination. Amy Adams for Night Bitch. I just don't believe in it. Night Bitch is not well liked by many people, and I just don't see Amy Adams getting any momentum in this awards season for this film. Emma Stone, Kinds of Kindness. I guess it's a possibility, but I don't know. I just don't see Kinds of Kindness being something that really hits with any voting body at all. Drama actor. I have Adrien Brody at number one, of course. If I have the film winning drama picture and director, I have Adrien Brody winning drama actor. Timothée Chalamet for A Complete Unknown. I've heard a lot of people say that if this film's in Best Picture, Chalamet's absolutely number two, absolutely the one to watch out for to beat Brody. I don't think that's going to happen, but I do think the nomination for Chalamet is definitely very safe. Coleman Domingo for Sing Sing. The film is having its resurgence. Coleman Domingo's getting recognized. The entire cast is getting recognized for their performances. I don't see a world where he misses for this when he got in for Rustin. Ralph Fiennes for Conclave. It's going to be too subtle to win, I feel, but between the excellent performance and the great career narrative, he's absolutely going to be in here. There's no way he misses. Daniel Craig for Queer. I was not really confident in this award season, but it really feels like a lot of the other contenders are kind of starting to fall. I think Craig's absolutely going to get this nomination. And then I am not confident about this at all, but Sebastian Stan in The Apprentice. It really feels like Hollywood, like the critics, are completely ignoring this film, and I wish they wouldn't. Sebastian Stan is excellent. I'm really scared he's going to miss, and I think there's a high likelihood that he can, but I'm going to say the Globes are cool enough to give him the nomination here. John David Washington for The Piano Lesson I thought was very good, and I could see him getting in over Stan if they just want to ignore The Apprentice and not pay attention to it. Paul Mescal, I don't believe in. Gladiator 2 is not going to be anywhere close to Best Picture. I don't think Paul Mescal will either. Moving on to comedy actor, I have Jesse Eisenberg for Real Pain winning here. He's the only one I have in a film getting nominated at Comedy Picture, so I'm going to keep him at number 1. Glenn Powell for Hitman. If Netflix is serious about pushing him, I think this is a great win for him to get momentum into the Oscar race. Sebastian Stan for A Different Man. If A Different Man is getting into Comedy Picture, I can see him taking this just because of how critically acclaimed his performance is. And I can see a lot of the more highbrow members of this voting body going out for A Different Man, which would please me. He's excellent in the film. Michael Keaton for Beetlejuice. You know, this just feels like a nomination that's going to happen because he's Michael Keaton and there's not any competition at all in this category. He's going to be here. Hugh Grant for Heretic is one like that Joaquin Phoenix and Beau is Afraid that I can see happening, where it's just such a fun pick and a horror-ish performance. So I think Hugh Grant's going to show up here as a surprise nomination to some. Heretic is in comedy, and I think that Hugh Grant is actually pretty likely for this category. Gabriel LaBelle for Saturday Night. The film has lost all momentum. It's going to be a nothing factor this award season, but because of how weak this category is, I think LaBelle might just do enough to get this last slot here. Jesse Plemons for Kinds of Kindness. Like I said in Best Comedy Actress, I don't think the Globes are going to like this film very much, but if they do, they definitely can put him over LaBelle. Best Supporting Actress, Ariana Grande has all the momentum on her side. I'm starting to accept the fact that she might be our frontrunner in Supporting Actress. Voters are just going to eat up what she does and just eat up her character in general. They're going to fall in love with her, and I don't really think any of these other potential nominees have something quite like that. Zoe Saldana, definitely an industry veteran, and for that reason I can see them still giving it to her, especially since Emilia Perez, I think, is just going to be a very well nominated film here. I can see Saldana still winning this. Felicity Jones, very safe nomination with how strong The Brutalist is. Danielle Deadwyler, I am very concerned about her film, but with there being 6 slots, she should be safe here for a nomination. Anjanou Ellis-Taylor for The Nickel Boys. If Nickel Boys is in picture, I can see Anjanou Ellis-Taylor coming along with the film. And finally here, Isabella Rossellini for Conclave. She has been campaigning her ass off for this film. When I saw it, I didn't really buy the potential of a nomination, but it really feels like it can happen just off of a lot of people's respect for who she is. And like I said, she's campaigning, she can get this spot. Selena Gomez for Emilia Perez, I think is going to miss. While I think the film is going to be loved by the Globes, I don't think she's given enough to do to stand up on the same level as Saldana or Gascon, so I have her missing. Monica Barbaro for A Complete Unknown. Now, I don't believe the Globes are going to like A Complete Unknown this much to give Barbaro a nomination, but who knows, if they really do dig the film, there's a chance, I suppose, with 6 slots. Supporting actor, Kieran Culkin really feels like he has all the momentum at this point. I have him at number 1. Clarence Macklin, Guy Pearce, absolutely safe nominations with Sing Sing and The Brutalist being the films they're in. Denzel Washington, I don't think is a lock, but I do think he is a pretty safe nomination here. He's just so magnetic in Gladiator 2. He's everyone's favorite part about the film. I think a lot of people are going to want to vote for him just to get the nomination. Edward Norton for A Complete Unknown really is starting to make a lot of sense to get that 5th slot at the Oscars, and so I definitely have him getting in here since I do think they're going to like the film enough to put it in picture. Stanley Tucci for Conclave. I do just think Conclave is going to be that film that is really nominated a lot never really in win contention, but is just very well liked across the board. Stanley Tucci, very good. Industry vet. I think he has enough here to slip into the 6th slot. Borisov for Anora. I do have him on the outside just because I think that top 6 is a little crowded with industry vets for him to get in. But if Anora is winning Best Picture here and they really love the film a lot, I can see Borisov being a coattail nomination. Jonathan Bailey for Wicked. I don't think he's getting nominated, but it would be hilarious to see people's reactions to this. That would be insane. I don't think he has enough to get that, though. Jeremy Strong for The Apprentice. I don't buy The Apprentice in any category except lead actor, and even there, I am really shaky on it. Screenplay, I have Anora winning. It feels like the screenplay movie of the year. I think they're going to love it. I think they're going to give it the award. Sing Sing is the frontrunner and adapted right now, at least I think it is anyways, so Sing Sing maybe has a chance to upset Anora. The Brutalist, with how well loved this film is going to be, it's just going to be a guaranteed nomination. I don't think it can win. If Oppenheimer couldn't last year, The Brutalist isn't going to win screenplay, but it's just going to be a safe nomination. Conclave, also a very writery movie, a lot of twists and turns. I think the nomination is safe. A Real Pain, that is also one of the best scripts of the year. Just so many layers to these characters, a lot of funny moments, a lot of heart to it. I really like Jesse Eisenberg's writing. He's campaigning a lot as a writer instead of an actor for this. I think he's going to get a nomination here for screenplay. This last screenplay slot, I'm going back and forth between a few different options. I'm going to say Nickel Boys gets it because I think it's the safest one here. I think it is absolutely in picture. It's adapting a Pulitzer Prize winner. I don't see why it wouldn't if they do like the film a lot. Once again, right outside The Room Next Door and The Substance, I just don't think they're going to have enough to get these nominations over some of these more guaranteed Oscar-y type of films. Best Picture, non-English language. I have Amelia Perez in Best Picture here, so of course I have it winning. The Seat of the Sacred Fig I think is a very safe number 2. A lot of people are really going to want to honor Rasulov, but I don't think this film is going to have enough to overcome Amelia Perez. All We Imagine Is Light, once again, safe nomination. I really wish India picked this for international at the Oscars. I'm Still Here. If I have Fernanda Torres getting that drama actress nomination, of course I have it in here for non-English language feature. The Girl with the Needle, I've been seeing more and more about recently. I think that's kind of on track to get an Oscar nomination, so I have it getting nominated here pretty safely. And last slot, How to Make Millions Before Grandma Dies. I think this is going to be a very fun nomination if it happens. There are some contenders that I absolutely can see getting in, and I am kind of taking a risk with this one, but I would just really like to see it. Kneecap, I definitely think probably is honestly the more likely film to get in instead of Grandma Dies, but who knows. Dee Dee, I don't think is eligible because I don't think it's at least 50% in Mandarin. I think it's mostly in English. I could be wrong about that, and if it is over 50% in Mandarin, then just say I predicted the nomination because I would if I knew that, but I don't think it's eligible. Vermilio has also been gaining a little bit of traction here recently. I don't think it's going to be quite enough to get the nomination here, but it's a possibility. Best Animated Feature, this is obviously the locked-in Oscar 5 of Wild Robot, Inside Out, Flow, Memoir of a Snail, and Wallace and Gromit. This last slot is between either Transformers 1 or Look Back. I think Transformers 1 is going to get it because they like these IP type films. You know, they nominated Super Mario last year, and from what I can tell, Transformers 1 is pretty well liked, just a little underseen, but I think if they're able to get it out to the voters, they might go for it here. Look Back, I think, is probably the better film, but I think it's going to be a little too small and a little too underseen in comparison to even Transformers 1. Moana 2, like I said, they like their IP, I suppose, and if they gave it to Mario, they can give it to something mid like Moana 2. I'm not sure though, I think they go Transformers. Original score, I think we got a lot of guarantees here. The Brutalist is going to win. Dune 2, even though it's not eligible for the Oscars, is going to get a nomination here. Conclave absolutely getting nominated. The Room Next Door, Alberto Iglesias' work has been really acclaimed on this, just as it was in Parallel Mothers, so I think he's going to get here because while the international support, like I said, won't be enough for some of the more major categories, it should be enough here considering the competition. Challengers, I'm going to go out on a limb and say they like this film more than other bodies and give this a nomination, which would be very, very well deserved. Emilia Perez I'm predicting here just because I know this film's going to get a lot of nominations. It's going to get a couple song nominations. I think this is in here, but I'm not 100% confident about it. The Wild Robot I can see getting above Emilia Perez because, you know, they went for Spider-Verse and Boy and the Heron in score last year, so they can go for Wild Robot here. Sing Sing, I think the score is great, maybe just a little bit too soft for the Globes to nominate though. Wicked, I think the original score is eligible, but I just think the music adapted from the Broadway show kind of overshadows the actual original music, that it's probably not going to slip in here, but if it does, I would take it very seriously for a nomination at the Oscars at that point. Best Original Song, we got the two Emilia Perez songs here, Mi Camino, El Mal, definitely there. Kiss the Sky from Wild Robot, I think this is definitely going to get there. Like a Bird from Sing Sing, A24 is obviously campaigning this song. They just released a music video for it today. I think they might have gotten it out there and pushed it to voters enough to get this nomination. Piece by Piece from Piece by Piece, it's Pharrell Williams. They might just nominate him because he's Pharrell Williams. Will and Harper Go West from Will and Harper. I think this would be a great way to honor this movie since they don't have a documentary category. They may want to slip this song nomination in there for the film, which would be great. I don't think the Better Man song, Forbidden Road, is going to be here just because I really don't envision the Golden Globes going out for this film. And I also don't think the Moana 2 songs will get there. I've heard that none of them really stick out. I guess Beyond is the most talked about, so maybe, I mean, hell, they nominated Peaches from the Mario movie last year, so maybe something from Moana gets in. And finally, we have the Cinematic and Box Office Achievement Award. I'm not going to put much thought into this. I'm just going to list some films that come to my head that I really think were box office successes. So Wicked is going to win this award between the excellent box office and how much momentum it has and how good the film is going to take this like Barbie did. Inside Out 2, if all they really care about is the box office number itself, Inside Out 2 is the highest grossing movie of the year, so maybe that wins in that case, but definitely getting nominated. Deadpool and Wolverine, absolutely going to be here. Dune Part 2, on top of it being one of the best films of the year, also got a ton of money at the box office. That's going to be here. Moana 2 has been killing it at the box office, so even though that the film is mid and it's probably not going to get any other nominations, it probably shows up here. Gladiator 2, while not that impressive domestically, has been doing well at the international box office, so I think with 8 slots, it's likely that Gladiator 2 slips into here. And then Twisters and Beetlejuice, both domestic heavy films that did great here in the United States. Not so much anywhere else, so the international voting body might just not give it to them, but I think they're going to have enough here. And so that's it for my final Golden Globe nomination predictions, everybody. What did you think? What do you have winning the 2 picture categories? Do you think Wicked has a chance to beat Anora? Let me know your predictions down below, and if you liked what you saw here today and you'd like to see more, subscribe to follow the odyssey that is Oscar season.